Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
A second delay.
Kaz joining us all the way from, where are you again?
Lanzarote, Gran Canaria, Tenerife.
Yeah.
Somewhere sunny.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Can I just check? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good. I've got a new laptop, so I was like, I was really hoping it would work. Right. Okay. Good.
Did you have a nice trip to Brussels?
Yeah. Just trying to burn off all the waffle calories now. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of good food in Brussels. Isn't there? But that seems like ages ago now, doesn't it? Just kind of a few people still joining. Hi, Monica. I know you've not got your video on or your sound, but welcome. Thanks for joining us, and Paula as well. I think we've lost Kaz.
No, she's there, isn't she?
She's still here, but yeah, we had a brief video, but we've lost her. Hi, Yaz. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll give it a few minutes just to let people connect. I've sent this obviously off in a few different places, so as usual, people might have just literally clicked Zoom and might need to download it and what have you. So we'll give it a couple of minutes. So if anything that you need to do to grab a drink or whatever, you've got a couple of minutes before we start.
It still baffles me how often I come across people who have never used Zoom. I had a call yesterday with somebody, and she said, "Oh, I've not used Zoom before. Can I just click on the link?" And I was like, "How have you got to this point, not use Zoom?"
I know, yeah. You've either never used it or used it way too much.
Yeah.
Hi, Yaz. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you. Looks like you've got a nice sunny spot there.
I really have, and just looking at myself, I feel like I've already got a tan, and I haven't even been to Hawaii. God knows what I look like once we're there. Apparently, it's really hot.
Yeah, it's nice and hot at the time we're going. Pretty much the best time of year. So,
a friend of mine just come back from Vegas, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she loved it.
Good. We'll be there soon. Okay, a couple of minutes. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for joining us. Can't see you.
Hello. I will switch my camera and I've got wet hair that I need to brush first, but I am here and I am interested.
Don't worry, that's absolutely fine. For anyone else as well that's not got their video on, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to just watch along. You can pop on or just speak and ask any questions, or you can pop them in the chat as well. And I'll check that every now and again. I've got a couple in there. I think that's Kaz.
Hi, Melanie. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I don't want to put my
Monica.
video on because I look absolutely terrible today. So,
Don't worry, I'm sure you don't, but don't worry at all.
but I'm here. I'm listening.
Good. Perfect. You'll get a little. I'm going to share a little clip of our Thailand adventure as well, so you'll get a little preview of that. Because I know you're coming in January.
Fantastic! Can't wait.
Perfect. Okay, just give it one more minute for people to join. So, like I said, if you need to grab anything, quick drink, or anything like that, you've got a moment. Thank you for joining us on this lovely evening. Well, I shall try my best not to talk too long, which is always a challenge for me when talking about tours. But yeah, I will try not to make it too late. So if you've got any plans later, you can still crack on, do them. So everything that I'm going to talk about today and share is you can actually go on the Travel Queen website as well and check it out. So I'm going to go through, both tours, Hawaii and Vegas in detail, but you can go back and kind of on the website and look through with a bit more time as well and read all the descriptions there and the FAQs and things like that. So, anyone else trying to join? Okay, so as well, for anyone that might not have used Zoom before or have used it and usually gets muted, I tend to not mute people because I like people to join in if they want to ask any questions or chat. So I won't mute you, but if some background noise starts going on and sort of interferes a little bit, then I might have to mute you. But if that happens and you're speaking and we can't hear you for any reason because I've muted you, you can just click and unmute yourself at any point. So please feel free. And I will cover all sorts of different things, but inevitably there's way too much to kind of possibly cover all at once. So if there's any questions as we go through, just ask as and when it pops into your head, because if you save it for the end, you know, I might cover it already, or you might forget. So please just ask as it pops into your head. Okay. Right, I think I'll make a start then. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm Mel, I run Travel Queen, and Travel Queen is a fully certified tour operator. It's not just me in my little home office. So Travel Queen is backed by the Travel Trust Association, which basically means that any kind of payments to Travel Queen is all done through a trust account, which you may or may not know about. But basically that means that any payments are all overseen by the Travel Trust Association, and all monies paid to Travel Queen are financially protected and all that kind of thing. If you want to know anything else about that, you can ask me. And basically I create all the tours myself. I travel to the destinations first, travel around, check out all the best destinations, try out all the tours and activities, do the traveling, meet the local companies, always try and find local, sort of ideally family-run local companies that have been going a while in destinations, and work with them, meet with them and arrange everything so that I can basically deal with them directly and say, oh, this is great, but can we do it like this instead for our group? So basically everything has been tried and tested by myself and kind of given the stamp of approval. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of confidence as well. So what I'm going to share today, obviously a few different people on and a few different people watching. A few of you will have seen this before, but it'll just give you a little taste. Yasmin and Nikki and Carly, you'll definitely have experienced this before, because I'm just going to share a little short video of our Thailand adventure, just because this event's going to be about Hawaii and Vegas Adventures this summer. But for those that haven't been on Travel Queen tour before, it will just give you a bit of a flavour of what to expect, because on that video, that's the longest standing tour that I've been doing. So we've got lots of little footage of actual women on the tour and a few little comments at the end as well about their experience. So rather than me talk about it all, it probably just best way to give you a little bit of a flavour of an actual Travel Queen trip. Then I'll share with you a little video from my recce tour. Hi Suzanne, good to see you now. A little video from my recce tour, which was the end of last year when I went to Hawaii to plan everything. I've not done one of those yet for Vegas, so it's just for Hawaii at the moment. That's just a couple of minutes as well. And then I'll go into our Hawaii tour and talk through that, the itinerary, all the different places we go, and then do the same for Vegas. So I will try not to go into absolute minute detail, because like I say, it's all on the website and I'll try not to keep you too long. But yeah, ask away at any point as we go through. So to start off with, then I'm going to share my screen with you. And she says confidently, not done this for a while. I'm going to share my screen with you and play you this Thailand video. So hopefully you should be able to see a happy woman sat on a swing looking out at Thailand. Can everyone see that? Okay, right. Okay, so this is Thailand. I know that's not why you're here, but it will give you a bit of a flavour of a Travel Queen experience. Okay, so that's Thailand. But obviously, that's not why you're here to necessarily hear about that. Maybe you are, maybe you're thinking about it for the future. But yeah, that just hopefully gives you a bit of a flavour of actually seeing women on a Travel Queen tour. Does that bring back some good memories for Yaz?
Yes.
Nikki, Molly?
Yeah, I want to go back.
Yeah, so just gives you a little bit of a flavour. Like I said, there's more detail as well if you want to go on the Travel Queen website. And there's a page called Meet Real Travel Queens, and on there you can see individual sort of longer videos from a few of the women that have been on the tour, and also loads of different reviews as well. That'll give you more of a feel. So that was just a little taster. Just going to see if there's anyone else trying to join us quickly. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again with you now and just share a little video that I put together from basically my recce trip to Hawaii, so a bit more specific. And this is just a series of clips and little videos from a lot of the things that we see and do on the tour. Obviously, we haven't done the tour yet, so I don't have loads of other people in those. So unfortunately, it's just myself popping up every now and again. But yeah, that'll just show you that obviously I've been and planned everything. So this will hopefully make a bit more sense as well when I start to talk through it. Okay, should now be able to see me up in the mountains. Okay, so this was my Hawaii recce trip.
Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, which rumbles melt like lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Birds fly over the rainbow. Oh, why can't I see trees of green and roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, brightness of day, darkness of night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. I watch so many faces of people passing by. See friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? And they're really saying, I love you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
We are happy. We're laughing.
Okay, so that's Hawaii. Hopefully gets you in the mood. It does me. I've watched it for a little while. Oh, can't wait. So we're off to Hawaii in just over 2 months, on the 10th of July. So I'm going to share my screen with you now from the Travel Queen website, so I can go through our itinerary. So let's just have a look. So we've got a few people here that are booked on. So there's obviously myself, Carly, Nikki, Yaz, and Anne-Marie that I've got on here that are booked onto Hawaii. And then out of those, Carly, me, Nikki, Yasmin, going on to Vegas, and then we've got Rachel Ladd, who we can't see at the moment, coming out to Vegas as well. I don't think it was anyone. But yeah, so obviously you'll have seen this before, I appreciate. But I will just share my screen now. So this is the Travel Queen website where you can see all about the tour. So there's a page just for the Hawai'i Adventure. All the information on there. So it's 10 days and we'll basically be traveling across 3 islands. The majority of the time we'll spend on Maui and on Oahu, so the 2 main islands. And we'll also have a day trip to an island neighbouring to Maui, which is Lanai, which is sort of really sort of developed and kind of volcanic coastlines and things like that. And we'll have 10 days accommodation, really, really high quality accommodation. Accommodation in Hawaii is not cheap. Obviously some of the other tours I have a couple of more rustic options, which are great because they kind of, you know, throw you out into the jungle, in the tree houses in Thailand and things like that. In Hawaii, it's a little bit different, but I've done my best to find the best kind of most Hawaiian hotels and things like that. So Hawaiian owned and run, and kind of really have a flavour of where you are as well, because there's quite a lot of big hotels and big hotel chains in Hawaii, perhaps with it being part of the US. So the hotels that we stay are really good quality, good accommodation, but yeah, have a bit more character as well. So there's all sorts of different activities included, 12 activities in total, loads of day trips, loads of activities, loads of walking tours, boat trips, turtle spotting, things like that. And then there's a couple of options to add extra things in there as well. I'll not go through that list because I'm going to go through the itinerary and tell you all about those. And then all the transfers are included as well. So there's transfers within the, you know, across the islands themselves to get from A to B and from the airport and things like that. And there's also a flight from Maui to Oahu, which is included. What else we can do? So it's a little overview. You can read all of that on the website. I'll just make this a bit smaller. It says. Okay. So this first picture is basically the view as we kind of arrive in Maui. So the view from the clouds, which is a good one. So we'll arrive in Maui, and then on the first day, we'll head to our sort of beachfront resort, which is this place here, literally right on the beach. Claiming as the most Hawaiian hotel in Hawaii, which I thought was quite a grand claim, so I thought I'd better go and check that out. So it has that because it runs loads of different cultural activities, which we will have a go of while we are there. But on the first day, it's just an aerial view of the hotel. On the first day, we'll get there and we'll just have quite a relaxed day, time to chill out, go onto the beach. This is a little sort of tiki style restaurant right on the beachfront overlooking the sea. So you can kind of just chill out there. This was a picture from our Thailand Adventures. This is usually the kind of thing that happens on the first day. People kind of get together, have a bit of a cocktail in the sun, get into the spirit of things. These are the rooms, really, really lovely, sort of recently renovated part of the hotel, but all done in sort of keeping with kind of more traditional Hawaiian style. Loads of little artifacts and things on the walls. And then in the evening, well, early evening, we'll be setting off on our sunset cocktail cruise. which just feels like a good thing to do on your first day, doesn't it? So you'll have arrived in the morning, and there's a bit more detail about flights, which I can talk about later. But basically, you'll arrive in the morning, so you'll have a good few hours of that day to just kind of relax and chill out. So it's quite a long flight to Hawaii, so you'll have some time to sort of, you know, relax and chill out before we do anything. And then the cocktail cruise doesn't involve, you know, a huge amount of time or any travel. We literally go right from the beach right out at the front of our resort, climb onto this boat here, onto a luxury catamaran, amazing crew that are really good fun, that look after us. And basically we sail around the coastline of Maui. So you look back and you can see all like the mountains. These are like the Maui mountains and kind of some of the views that you'll see. And yeah, we'll just actually set off. The sun will still be shining, but then we'll be given, you know, little appetizers. There's a bit more detail about exactly what we get on board, and you'll have drinks included as well. So you'll be able to choose from things like traditional Hawaiian Mai Tais, a glass of wine, or there's obviously non-alcoholic options as well. And then we'll actually be out at sea when the sun sets, and there are absolutely fantastic sunsets in Hawaii. So when it'll be kind of early evening that the boat will come back to the beach, so we'll get off and we'll be able to just either, by this point, if you're a little bit tired from your flight, you'll be able to just happily float off to your room and just have a good night's sleep, or you can carry on and have a couple more drinks in the tiki bar in the evening. So they have all these lovely little areas right by underneath all the palm trees with little fire pits and things like that. Not that we'll probably need the fire pits in July when we're there, because it should be nice and hot. So that is day one. And then the next day, you'll have time to kind of, you know, wake up, relax. But then we'll be going to, there's a couple of cultural activities. So you'll be able to do, one of the ones is to learn to play the ukulele, which is just the novelty of it itself is just really good fun. It's not like a really intensive lesson, you know, you won't be expected to have any musical ability, because I mean, I actually could do it and I have none. I have no rhythm or musical ability whatsoever. So it's just a little bit of a laugh. It's only our group doing it, so you don't need to worry about anyone else. And we literally do this kind of sat in the shade of the gardens in the hotel. So, you know, you can literally hear the waves crashing and things like that. So even if you're not so sure whether or not you're going to want to play the ukulele, obviously the sounds and stuff are very typically Hawaiian, and all the cultural activities are run by the staff at the hotel who are Hawaiian. So they tell you little stories as they go along, and it's just like a really lovely experience. So after we've done that in the sort of mid-morning, we'll have a bit of time to relax, and then we're going to head down the beach. This is the beach, this is Kanapali Beach on the west coast of Maui. These are just some of the staff at the hotel. That's me that's me posing with the ukulele. So yeah, we'll head down the beach, just down to the right, so it's only a few hundred yards, and then we'll head to this area here, which is Black Rock, which is just a very scenic spot in itself. So if you don't want to get into the water, that's fine. If you just want to kind of perch on the beach and relax. But for those that are up for it, this is a really good place to go and spot green sea turtles that you find in a lot of places in Hawaii. But this is a really nice spot because it's not somewhere where a lot of boat trips go to see turtles. So some places you can imagine get quite popular for that, and they can get quite crowded. And then that in itself then sort of, you know, scares them away a little bit. So this is quite a nice spot where people just kind of go at different times of the day just to kind of check them out themselves. So we'll go and do that. And for anyone that's feeling daring, you can actually go and jump off Black Rock as well. It's kind of a cliff jumping spot. Not that I can say I did it myself, because the climb up there looked a little bit, yeah, maybe something I shouldn't do on my own. But yeah, but definitely the sea turtle spotting. And this is the beach from there. So it's really, really shallow. Again, for anyone that's not kind of a confident swimmer as well, you could quite easily just kind of potter in there and still be up to kind of, you know, waist level and things like that. But yeah, you sometimes see them swimming around or just kind of nestled under the rock, having a little nibble of the coral, things like that. So then once we've done that during the day, we'll be heading out to, we're going to catch a little bit of hula dancing, again at the tiki bar in our resort. So that's always really nice to see, sort of guitar playing music. And then we'll head down the beach to, there's kind of a little development where there's kind of loads of little local bars and restaurants. Again, lots of sort of tiki style. There's live music with people playing, you know, ukuleles and singing. And then there's lots of little shops in there as well, that if you wanted to have a nosy around. So they affectionately call it Hawaiiana, I think is the official term, but basically lots of very flowery, tropical looking types of clothes, and there's some really lovely like jewelry as well that's sort of really unique to Hawaii that you can have a look around at. So you can either go and do a bit of shopping, or just again grab yourself a cocktail, or a bit of both. And then again, it's just a really short walk back along the beach from to our resort. That's day 2. Then on day 3, we have 2 nights in that hotel. And then on day 3, we're still at the hotel, and we have kind of quite a few hours here before we move on to our next stop. So our sort of first activity that we do here is the option to experience the world of hula dancing. So again, this isn't, I fully unexpected to be given a hula hoop at this moment, and it was like, this is not a thing. Traditionally, hula represents like a whole host of like storytelling and a big part of the culture in Hawaii. So they'll tell us a little bit about that, and then explain how actually it might look like they're just kind of doing a lot of this and it's a standard move, but actually there are sort of real meanings behind some of the movements that represent like the sea and the sun and all these different aspects to it. I won't attempt to explain it because it won't be as lovely when they do it. But yeah, basically we'll have a little chance to join that class. Again, it'll just be ourselves, and you get to have a little go, but also just watch if you don't want to have a go. That's absolutely fine. And then once we've had a kind of, you know, relaxed kind of day doing that, sort of mid-afternoon, we'll then set off to our next stop, which is just a little bit down the coast to the main village, the main town on Maui, which is Lahaina. So this is kind of an old, way back when was kind of a whaling village. And then it sort of had, it was a real sort of historical point for in the plantation era. So there's loads of kind of old houses and little things. So we'll do a little walking tour, point out some of the key points. But again, just a really, really lovely place to kind of just walk up and down the streets and check places out. Really lovely views of the mountains in the backdrop. This is the hotel where we'll stay. It's a plantation style inn right on the harbour front. And you can just walk down to the beach. And then these are just some of kind of the shops and bars and restaurants as you walk around. So it's just like a really cute, colourful little place. There's a massive banyan tree right in the middle of Lahaina, which is kind of like this gathering point for the community. So you just see people under there having picnics and things like that. This is our hotel again. So this is a more historic hotel, so a little bit more traditional in the rooms and things like that, but it's got a really lovely courtyard that some of the rooms overlook. All the rooms have balconies, so they either overlook the pool or out onto the main street. So these are the rooms. All the little balconies there. So we have a bit of time here to kind of just chill out and have a little walk around. And then there's a really cool place called the Wharf, if I remember that right, I've not got it mixed up. Yeah, the Wharf, it's like an open air, again, a few little shops and sort of souvenir places, and then a really cool sort of bar and sort of restaurant in the middle of it called Down the Hatch, which specialises in amazing seafood, which is a big thing in Hawaii. So we'll head there, you can get a couple of drinks for happy hour, get some of the food. And then again, it's up to you. You can just go back to your room and chill out, watch the sunset on your balcony, or yeah, just stay out and have a couple of drinks with people. And then the next day, we'll be heading to Lanai, which is the other island that I mentioned earlier, which is one that you may or may not have heard of before with Hawaii. It's less known. But it's really nice to head here because it's obviously lots of Hawaii has volcanic coastlines. That's how Hawaii was created. But in Lanai, it's just a bit easier to kind of get there and experience it without the crowds. So this was something that I did on my recce trip that I really, really enjoyed because it wasn't kind of a massive organized trip. There's some other activities that you do that are kind of must-sees that I did, and actually felt that this day was much, much better. And again, away from the crowds and a couple of little things that you get to see, which you can just appreciate a little bit more because there's not tons and tons of people doing it. So we head over to Lanai. So this is a picture of the coastline, which is again quite rare to find pockets of Hawaii that don't have lots of hotels and things like that all over it. So we head to here. So there's also a really beautiful beach, which I think has got some kind of accolade by Dr. Beach, whoever he is. Apparently a big thing in the US. He's gone around and kind of, you know, ranked all the beaches and things. And this beach on Lanai, he has won his kind of, you know, regard as one of the best beaches I've ever been to, apparently. So we walk down, we get the ferry over, we walk down to the beach, and then I'll take us around to this spot, which is Sweetheart Rock. Or there's another name in Hawaii, which I haven't said for a while, and I'm really looking for it. Puhupehe, aka Sweetheart Rock. I'm going to just say it quickly and go with it. So you get to here, you can see kind of that you can't grasp quite the sort of the scale of it here because it's just a small picture. That's my little shadow there taking the picture. But yeah, volcanic rock, really sort of gorgeous blue water and white sand, and it's just obviously where the land has been created by volcanic eruptions. So we walk up to there. It's not a very long walk and it's all fairly flat. You can just chill out on the beach if you like, but we'll be heading up here. I'd recommend coming with us to have a look. And then we come back from there, and on the walk back to the beach, there's this amazing, all these little tidal pools. So you can get down there and kind of have a little look and a little search around. There's all sorts of little, like small little colourful fish and crabs and things living in there. And you can get up close to the to all the volcanic rocks. So you can actually see how like all the different stripes through the rock there. It sort of just gives you more of a feel of thinking about the fact that lava created this area. So this is this amazing little tidal pool. So for those that are up, it doesn't look quite as difficult as you might think. So hop in there, and it's really sort of calm and warm, and all the waves kind of like crash up against the rocks while you're in there. But obviously you're completely protected because you're in this tidal pool. So it's quite a nice experience just kind of lounging in there like this girl was on her bodyboard when I went down. So we'll head there, and then we walk back to the beach, and then from there as well, there's really good snorkeling that you can go off and do, again, at your leisure, or you can just choose to relax. Then we'll get the ferry back. Another ferry, when I got the ferry over last time, you could spot dolphins. We're literally kind of swimming in the sea by the boat and things like that. So it's just, even just the boat trip itself is really lovely. And then when we head back, we'll have quite a few hours still in Lahaina. So I will take you to a few of the places that I've discovered on my travels, little tiki bars right on the beachfront. That's day 4. So then we'll be staying in Lahaina for 2 nights. So after our 2 nights there, we'll be flying to our next island, which is Oahu. So this is the view of Oahu as you arrive by plane. So again, above the clouds, there's really great views from the plane. You're just kind of like scrambling to take pictures. You can see immediately this island is much more developed. Maui is much more undeveloped. There's quite a few hotels on certain parts of the coastline. But other than that, it's kind of more sort of residential and tourist. When we go to Oahu, this is the main capital of Hawaii. So there's a lot more kind of residential development and an awful lot more people that live there. And this site that you can see from the plane, this is the volcano, Diamond Head volcano, which you can see on a lot of the kind of, classic pictures of Waikiki Beach. You can kind of see these kind of peaks in the background, which is Diamond Head crater. And you can see how built up Honolulu is, which was quite surprising. When I first landed there, I felt like I was landing in Manhattan or somewhere like that. It was at night as well, so it was all lit up. It was really pretty. So this is the view of Waikiki Beach. So you can just see a little bit of the skyline there and the Diamond Head volcano in the background. And for obviously, a world famous beach, can get quite busy on the beach, but it's still really, really beautiful, soft white sand. The sea's really clean, sort of turquoise water, lapping up quite shallow. Obviously, there are good waves at times, but there are also quieter beaches where there are no waves if you want to actually have a little swim, or you don't want to kind of get in there and amongst the surface and things like that. So where we stay in Waikiki Beach, and we have 5 nights here. So quite compared to some of our other Travel Queen tours, actually quite a long time in one place. But there was so much to do on Oahu that it just felt right to kind of get a great hotel and just stay there and kind of head to a couple of different spots. So we stay in a hotel. It's just set back 1 street from the beach on this main Kalakua Avenue, which is a little bit like Rodeo Drive or something. When I first arrived on there, I again was quite surprised. All designer shops and big open air kind of shopping centres and things like that. Loads of little bars and restaurants, and it's really close, like I said, just steps from the beach. So we stay in a really cool hotel, and we have really beautiful rooms. All the rooms have sea views and a little balcony that you can step out onto. So we do have a little bit of free time here as well, so that you can just, you know, soak up being able to kind of enjoy your really nice room and, you know, go out onto the balcony. And there is a swimming pool. So these are the rooms. There's also a really nice swimming pool there that you can go and hang out at. Again, because of where it is, it's got this really cool feeling of being, you can look out to sea, but there's also sort of surrounded by some of the skyline. And there's a really cool little coffee shop right next door to the, literally leading out onto the pool area, where you can get coffees and sort of fresh juices and things like that. We're literally kind of right slap bang in the middle of all like the best things to see in Waikiki. So it's a safe and close area, you know, for walking out to things if you just want to go out and do a bit of shopping yourself. So we'll fly to Oahu from Maui, get all settled in, transfers and everything obviously all included. It's a short flight, I think it's about 40-50 minutes. Just gonna let someone in. And then, yeah, in the evening, once you've had a few hours to sort of get settled into your room, sit on your balcony for a bit, there's a big open air bar as well as part of the hotel, which is Maui Brewing Company, which is a local beer. There's all different types of beer there that are brewed, and it's a really nice open air restaurant. And then that evening, we're going to head to Waikiki Sky Bar, which was this amazing place that I found while I was there, which just has, that's me there enjoying a Mai Tai in the Sky Bar. This is a really cool place to head to for sunset. These are just some of my pictures. The top, again, which don't really do it justice because it's completely panoramic, so you can't kind of get it all in one shot. But yeah, over the sea and the skyline, and you just get to watch the sunset up there. And again, this feels like, am I in Hawaii? Where am I? Like, you know, it's just it's quite a sort of surreal place. So we'll head here. We'll have, say, probably this table here kind of reserved for us to get some drinks. And then, yeah, as the sun goes down as well, all the city lights up. It's just a beautiful spot to be. And it's like a bit of quite a contrast to Maui, where we've just come from as well. So best of both worlds. Specialise in oysters.
I was going to say, are they oysters?
Yeah, there's all the oysters, so you'll be happy.
Boom.
And then the next day, we'll head to Waikiki Beach for a bit of a beach day. Definitely a place to spend at least one full day on. You'll have some more free time as well if you want to go back. So we'll head down to Waikiki Beach, and there will be, we will have an organised activity this day which is included. So we'll head down to the beach, and I'm just going to take us on a bit of a walking tour basically along the beach. There's this really lovely kind of beachfront promenade that you can walk along. And Waikiki, even though it's known as like the birthplace of surfing, so there's all these kind of statues everywhere of this is Duke, who's like known as this kind of surfing god who kind of put Hawaii on the map for surfing and won all these things in the Olympics and everything like that. So people come and bring these fresh flower leis and hang them on him like daily, you know, that's just like a constant thing, and taking pictures in front of him and stuff. And there's loads of other statues as well. So even if you're not into surfing and don't like the idea of having a go, it's still just very interesting to watch and kind of see all that. There's just people walking everywhere barefoot with surfboards, you know, down the main road and to the beach. And yeah, just good stuff just good fun to watch. And also you can have a go at surfing. So as part of the as part of the tour, you can book on an added extra. I didn't include this because I know from my experience of doing stuff before, not everyone will be up for surfing, so I didn't want to include that as a standard thing. But you can book as an optional extra a surf lesson as part of the tour. So you'll have, and if you've never tried surfing before, this is not something I will be able to share with you and show you the way, because I have never mastered it, but balance is not one of my strong points. So yeah, I'd love to be able to say we don't need to pay for a surf trip, surf lesson. I'll show you how it's done. Fortunately, that won't be happening. I can show you how to bodyboard, which requires significantly less skill and balance because you stay lying down on the board. You can just swim out to the waves and kind of turn around and kind of ride them in a little bit. So if surfing doesn't sound like your thing, we can still definitely go and have some fun in the water, in the waves, and kind of get in the spirit of things. But if you would like to have a go at surfing, we can arrange that for you and pre-book a lesson with an actual surfing instructor. You'll get a surfboard to use, and you'll be shown some sort of techniques on the beach as what to do. You know, the technique of getting up on your surfboard, which they make look really easy, but is a little trickier than you might imagine. And then you'll have some chance in the water as well with their sort of supervision to give you some tips to try and get up. But also you can, again, just chill on the beach, or you could just choose on the day to kind of hire some stuff there, or go in the canoe rides. Let me carry on with my little tour. So Waikiki Beach as well, obviously really, really famous for surfing, but it has like a huge amount of history as well. So there's a ton of stuff, loads of sort of really big historic hotels that were a big part of, you know, kind of American history, and in the war, which were actually used to kind of house people before they were going off to Pearl Harbor and things like that. So really interesting hotels to kind of go and have a look around. This is one of them, the Moana Surf Rider. So you go in there and there's all like old log books of kind of ships that came back in, you know, many, many moons ago. And also the Royal Hawaiian Hotel as well, which is where people like Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra and people had stayed. And also there's a hotel where Elvis stayed when they filmed Blue Hawaii. So there's all these little kind of interesting little pockets along. So as well as checking out the beach, if you're not a lie on the beach kind of person, there's all sorts of other things as well that we'll do to kind of check out this area. And then we'll head back as well after our little walking tour and a bit of time to chill. And in the evening, there's a really cool place called, you know, named after Duke, the famous Duke. Duke's restaurant right on the beach, where it's a really cool place to just get some food, listen to some music, and again, watch the sunset. There's lots of sunsets involved in this tour. And they have really good ones at Waikiki Beach. This is my picture, by the way. This is not just a stock picture. This is actually what it looks like. So then on day 7, we'll have a bit of a free day then, because obviously we've moved around quite a lot. There'll be different, you know, there might be little things that you see as we're kind of moving around and you think, oh, I just want to go and check that out, but I've got to go and join the walking tour or something like that. So you have a bit of time just to chill out, up in your room on your own on the balcony, or just by the pool, or just head out and kind of check out, you know, walk along the avenue and do a bit of shopping, or just go and see different sites. If you wanted to go and see Pearl Harbor as well while you're there on the trip, we can arrange that for you to go and do a separate little tour. And also, yeah, you can just chill out around the pool area. And another little lovely thing about the resort is that they actually run movies from the pool area. So you can kind of pop yourself in the pool, or there's a little hot tub, and you can sit there and kind of watch a movie, nice and warm, you know, like a few steps from like the lift back to your room. So it's nice to just have a bit of time to kind of chill and do things like that you might, I say might normally do on holiday. There's not necessarily movies in a kind of hotel overlooking Waikiki Beach on a normal holiday, but yeah, just little things where you get to chill out as well. So that's a lovely option to be able to do there. And whenever there is free time, just remember as well, I always encourage people to do this if they want to actually kind of go off and, you know, have a bit of time to yourself, because if you're not used to traveling with a group as well, sometimes people just crave a little bit of kind of me time to go off and do something. But always, there's usually always people that want to do a few different things. So you don't necessarily have to go and do it on your own if you don't want to. There's usually a couple of other people in the group that think, yeah, I'd quite like to join you for shopping, or yeah, I'm going to stay by the pool today. So what you usually find with a group is that you've always got the option to go off and do something on your own, or have other people to do things with too. So this is just some pictures of like the pool area. A little hot tub.
I'm going to be in one of those little egg things. That's where I'll be that day.
Egg thing, yeah.
That's where you'll find me.
That's where you'll find me.
And then this is the kind of the road that our hotel's based on. So really lovely palm tree lined and all the different shops. And even just like the shopping centres are just, even if you're not bothered about sort of actually spending any money, they're just really interesting to walk around. Yeah, palm trees everywhere. And they're all very open air as well. Like there's one called the Royal Hawaiian Centre, and it's just beautiful. There's just tons of gardens everywhere and palm trees, and yeah, it's just interesting to walk around.
Just got this on, and I'm gonna.
Anne-Marie, you can hear me. I've just muted you. Sorry about that, but welcome. I'm glad you can join us. So yeah, here's a few of the shops. Again, all these pictures on. This is the Royal Hawaiian Centre I was talking about. So they sometimes have little performances and things in there as well that you can just go, grab a coffee and kind of perch in the gardens and just kind of hang out there for a little bit. So it's not necessarily all just shopping. This is the pool. So that's the screen at the back that has the diving movies on. And a little coffee shop underneath. And then just off here to this direction is the Maui Brewing Company bar as well. So everything you could need. Okay, so that's that day. And then on day 8, we're back off on a little adventure. This was one of my favorite days. So one of the reasons why I always had Hawaii on my list of places that I wanted to go, which is pretty long, but Hawaii was up there, was literally all the pictures of just the mountains, all these green kind of really sort of rocky peak mountains, which are obviously, because Hawaii is volcanic, that's why it looks so dramatic, why the scenery is so kind of stunning. And again, the pictures don't really do it justice until you're there, because they're just the scale of these mountains is just really beautiful. So this is actually just on the other side of Oahu, so it might not seem it, because just a few minutes away you've got kind of the big built up skyline of Honolulu, but then you head out here and you feel like you're somewhere completely different again. So it's called Kualoa Ranch, and it's just like a huge area in between the mountains on the forest, and they have kind of like a ranch there. They do horse riding and various different things. There's almost like too many activities to possibly, you could just have a week here basically and do all sorts. But the 2 activities that I've chose that we will do are a jungle expedition. So we go and hop on this little jungle jeep. So we'll have a couple of those to fit us all in. And then we drive off basically into the forest. It's basically like, instead of doing a hike, we get taken by jungle jeep. But just being on the jeep itself is really good fun, because you're literally kind of bouncing around all over the place.
I'm getting Jumanji vibes.
Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. So Kualoa Ranch is also, as well as just being a place of actually, stunning natural beauty, it is also famous as, because of its beauty, it's been used in a number of major blockbuster films. So Jumanji is one of them, Jurassic Park, King Kong. So you might see some sites. I watched Jumanji literally the other day, the new one with the rock in it, and I was watching it, I was like, they're in Kualoa Ranch, and I was like, oh, I've been there. So if you want to watch it, you can watch and be like, oh yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, it's really cool.
Do we need a sports bra warning?
What's that, Nikki?
Do we need a sports bra warning?
Yeah, that's a good point, Nikki. I'll add that to my advised packing checklist. Yeah, I've not done the one for Hawaii yet, but yeah, maybe a bit of sports bra, or
Scaffolding.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, really, really good fun. I just got on this jungle jeep and I was immediately just, that's really, really happy. I loved it. And you can literally see everything, because everything's open air as well. So these are my pictures from the jeep going around the mountains. That's not my picture because that's kind of aerial. But yeah, this is kind of the valley, which is So you got like things like Jurassic Park were filmed, you know, when they're being chased by all the dinosaurs and they're kind of in this really open field that's literally right in the center of this valley. So as part of the kind of driving through the forest, we point out a couple of places from the movies, and then we go up to this little peak and you get the chance to kind of get out and actually have a little walk up to the peak. This is the Jurassic World Gate, which is still there. Also used in Jurassic Park film. So yeah, it's really great. It's a really great day. You get to go off and a little bit of a short walk through the rainforest up to this peak. After the Jungle Jeep expedition, we'll have lunch and a bit of time to sort of chill out at the ranch, walk around, taking the views. And then we head, still part of the ranch, but we get in a little open air bus and head a little bit down the road to the coast, and we hop in a little raft and head across this kind of old historic fishing pond. And then we head to this beach, which is absolutely beautiful. It's owned by them as well, so it's never very busy because only a few people at once can ever go on there. And we climb aboard this little catamaran. And basically, so if you've ever seen, I shared some pictures on Facebook a while ago. So this boat here is basically the boat trip. So these are kind of the views of the mountains, and just kind of sail around these turquoise waters basically. So it's really, really calm, because this isn't like being out at open sea, you know, with really sort of big crashing waves and things. It's a really, really calm, sort of smooth, and, you know, quite a short sort of.
Are you trying to say that you haven't got Khal Drogo from Croatia to do this boat?
Yeah, you'll see is he on? He was in the video. He comes over and says, "Send it to me." He goes like this on the side of the boat. Not quite Khal Drogo-esque as we had in Croatia, which was a bit of a bonus as our skipper on that boat trip. But yeah, still good fun. Other beautiful things to look at. But yeah, it's just some more pictures of the ranch there. Yeah, this is my picture of the water. Just a minute. Time for a little dip to cool off before we get back to the bus, and then yeah, we'll have our transfer back to Oahu, and you'll have a free evening. And a lot of the time, obviously we have loads of activities during the day, but there'll always be a plan effectively for at night. It'll be, we're going to meet here at this bar, or why don't we go here for dinner? Again, you can always opt in and join the group, or just go off and do your own thing if you fancy a little chill as well. And then on our last full day and night, if you're feeling active, if you're not, it's okay. But if you are feeling active, you can join us, because we're going to go on a hike up to Diamond Head Crater. So we'll have a bit of a walk out of the city centre. And we're basically heading up here, which looks really dramatic, but it's not like a sort of 5-hour serious hike, as much as you might think from looking at that picture. But basically we'll head up, you'll see some pictures and moments. This is kind of the view as we're walking towards Diamond Head. We walk through some sort of really lovely tree-lined streets, and then we just start to make our way up through a little residential area, and then eventually we get to basically the other side of the crater, which is this road through has obviously been cut through the volcano itself, which is dormant, so don't worry. And we go through here, and then there's just like a series of steps, basically, steps and kind of walkways, you know, kind of quite rocky. But I actually did this in flip-flops. Not that I'm recommending other people do it in flip-flops, but with my timing on the day, it just so happened that my first attempt to climb Diamond Head, I stupidly planned to do on Thanksgiving, and didn't realise that it would be closed. So I walked all the way up there and then had to walk all the way back down. So I had to squeeze in another visit to do the recce and try it out. And on that day, I didn't plan very well, and I had my flip-flops on. So that might give you an idea as to that you can do it. So it's not ridiculously, you know, like a treacherous hike or anything like that. But obviously I would recommend better footwear. So you can see this kind of path as it kind of weaves up the side of the volcano. And then you just get really beautiful views as we're walking up there. There are a couple of little tunnels to head through. I'll show this, and I'll always tell people what to expect, you know, before we do it, so you don't get any surprises if that's not your cup of tea. But yeah, a little bit of climbing, but the views are absolutely worth it. You get to the top and you can see all over like the coastline. You can even see out over to Maui on a clear day, and then back you can see look down back into the crater. And also you look across and you get these really amazing views of the rest of Oahu, and also down to Honolulu, to Waikiki Beach, which is this kind of picture here, which you see quite a lot on pictures of Hawaii in general. You can pick out all the different views from the top. So we'll do that on the morning of the last day before it gets too hot. Again, I will tell people about that when we're there. And then later on in the day, distinctly less active option, if you want to do it, is to go to a traditional Hawaiian luau. Luau is basically kind of feast in Hawaiian. So typically it involves an underground oven, which a kalua pig is roasted in. If that's not your idea of something good, or you're vegetarian, please don't worry, there are vegetarian options. But yeah, there's basically cooked in the ground, and then there's a full buffet done of kind of more traditional kind of historic things that Hawaiian people would have eaten more, kind of back in the day. So there'll be like sweet potatoes, special kind of root vegetable they have called taro, and then all various like salads and rice and stuff, and a few desserts. And then there's drinks included as well, so you can get, again, you don't always have to have Mai Tais, but this is the first time I tried Mai Tais in Hawaii, and they're actually really, really nice. So yeah, a few drinks and stuff are included as well, and there's loads of different dance performances and things, people getting all dressed up. You walk off into the forest at one point, and they do kind of more traditional dancing out there compared to like what they might do up at dinner, which is a little bit more kind of performance-esque. And they'll do sort of dances from all over kind of Polynesia. And the whole kind of estate is set in this really beautiful spot overlooking Honolulu. So I kind of watch the sunset while we're up there, and then sort of see the city as it lights up at night. Just some girls on a trip checking out the underground oven. Do sort of there's all sorts of little activities that are included, so you get to do like weaving with palm leaves, and they have these little games and things that you can play as well. Again, the idea is all just sort of little cultural things that Hawaiian families used to do. So that's the option for our last night, but then we'll still, obviously, for anyone that doesn't want to do the luau, and they're quite expensive luau's in Hawaii, and that's the main reason why I didn't include it as a standard option, because it would have meant putting the price up quite a lot. Some people will think, absolutely, I love the idea and I want to pay it. Others might think, no, I've got other things I'd quite like to do on my last night. But it doesn't go on that late, so it goes on from about 4 till 8 p.m. So we'll still be back in time for anyone that wants to do that, to meet up with everyone for a last night, a few drinks, and watch one last sunset in Waikiki Beach. And then that's it then. So the next day, that will be the day to leave the hotel, to either fly home, depending on what you're doing, or you might choose to stay a little bit longer, as Kaz is, as she's shaking her head. Or if you're doing a stopover, you might stay up somewhere else like LA on the way back. I know a lot of the women that are booked on to the tour already are going to LA on the way out. And then we also have our Vegas adventure, which is taking place immediately after the Hawaii tour, which a few of the girls that are like smiling and bobbing their heads around are joining. So they'll be flying to Vegas that day, and there's a night in between just to kind of manage kind of overlap between the two tours, and to make sure we're there in plenty of time to kind of welcome the group that will be coming out from Vegas. But 10 days as well. So obviously the flight out to Hawaii is going to take a little bit of time. It's pretty much one of the furthest away places that you can get to. Definitely worth it. But yeah, your flight time will take a little bit of time to get out there. So purposely done it as 10 days so that you've got time to have a little bit of stopover on the way if you like. And also, so if you do want to combine it with our Vegas trip, you can still kind of do both within basically about 2 weeks. So I'll not go into loads of details about all the FAQs, but you can sort of see here on the website, there's a little bit more information about flights, room sharing, how it works, if you want to do the Vegas adventure as well, and also things like visas and ESTAs and things like that. So I won't go through all of that right now, but if anyone has any questions in particular about Hawaii.
I was just going to ask about, it's a really boring question, but for the flights between the two islands, do you know what the baggage allowance is?
I do, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But that will be something that I will definitely be telling you about beforehand. It isn't only hand luggage, obviously, because I fully expect everyone to arrive with the size of bags that they normally do when they come on a tour. Even if I say, please travel lightly and try not to take something too substantial. So don't worry, it will be of a normal kind of baggage size that you will be able to check in. You won't have to fit it in the overhead cabin. That will the extra cost will have been paid for you to be able to check the bag in. But I will clarify exactly what the limit is and any restrictions, before we go.
Thanks.
Before we go, so you know
This has got closed for about 4 months.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm going for a month, so I'm going to have quite a bit with me. So
you're gonna have all sorts, aren't you? So but it won't be. It's not kind of like a, oh my god, we can only take something slightly smaller than a hand luggage bag because it's a small plane and doing that hop over. So I think most people that are traveling between the islands have probably already also had an international flight or something like that. So there's no sort of ridiculously tiny restrictions or anything like that.
good.
Any other questions? What do we think about Hawaii? How does it look? Question.
Absolutely amazing. Can't wait. I'm thinking I need to go shopping and because we don't have a lot of time left.
It seemed ages off, didn't it? July, the middle of July, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's like only a couple of months.
This was my trial holiday, just to make sure that all of my stuff fits in my suitcase that I need and figure out what I don't need that I've already packed.
Is it nice and hot there, Kaz?
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah. You're very relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm very smug.
I'm usually organised, but first of all, I've got to sort out Croatia and then Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
oh no.
a whole new holiday wardrobe. God damn it.
I'm sure you can wear some similar things, but
Oh, not from Thailand. Honestly, lockdown weight is not gone yet.
When you get that bag out, you've not worn anything for a while. You're like, I've just better do a try on. It's been a while. So we've got Nikki and Suzanne coming to Croatia and Anne-Marie. I'm saying we've got Anne-Marie. We've got two Anne-Maries on here, but the Anne-Marie that we can't see is coming to Croatia as well in June. So we have that first. And then who else have we got?
Yeah, I'm a travel queen whore.
Me too, Nikki, and I don't have a problem with that.
It's not even advantages for like record amount of trips being on, and I think there's a few of you that are literally just on like every trip that I have, I've either been on it or I booked onto one coming up. So I'm like, the pressure to have new trips. I'm like, I need to keep churning them out. I
mean, ironically, I think Rachel Ladd might be the one that's actually booked on the most trips.
I will get to Thailand this year. I'm determined.
I know, bless her. Do you know what? We're going to get you there this year. I've never been so blinking confident. And the other
it should have been my second Travel Queen tour, and it's going to end up being my fourth.
I know.
This year is the year.
It is. I'm confident. I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm getting to Thailand. And everyone's like, are you sure? Are you sure this is a real trip that you've booked?
And the other day as well, I read that Thailand have announced that they're getting rid of their tests to go pre-departure, and for a while this test that you had to do on arrival, and then I was like, that's the one that I want to go, because I don't want people to have to do a test, on arrival, because it would just be too stressful, I think, for different people, for different reasons. So they've announced that they're getting rid of that in the next few days, so I'm very happy. But so that's November and January for Monica, who was watching. So that's Hawaii. So I'm trying to think if there's anyone here sort of watching that might be thinking about. I think either people are already booked on, or I know couldn't do it in July but are thinking about it maybe for the future. I know, Suzanne, you were thinking about it for next year, weren't you, for a special birthday, was it?
Yeah, so it'll be my 30th next year, so I'd really like to do maybe Hawaii or just the Vegas one. Have you got any dates for next year yet?
I haven't. I've had lots of thoughts about dates, but yeah, you can imagine it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle sort of fitting everything in. So I started to think about kind of rough sort of time. There'll definitely be something similar again in the summer, and perhaps one a little bit earlier in kind of spring as well. When about is your birthday?
Gonna say, maybe you could put in like a special request. these are the dates.
It's June, so when the last day of the Croatia tour is my birthday, so the 10th of June.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if it was around that, I mean, it doesn't have to be then, obviously. But yeah, I'd like to do something special because it's a big year, obviously. So I'd like to do a big holiday.
Yeah,
well, you've come to the right place.
I have indeed.
Yeah, well, like June, probably like early, because I probably would have done more this year, but just with all sorts that's been going on at the moment, this is just still the only date that I've got for kind of this summer. But yeah, planning to kind of get them in and plan them, a bit further in advance. So hopefully over the next kind of couple of months we'll start having the dates for those sorted, because I know as well for a big trip it's nice to, especially if you're planning it for a special occasion as well, it's nice to know further in advance about future dates and stuff. So yeah, it's on my list, on my to-do list.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just conscious of time, so I'm gonna zip, unless anyone's got any other questions about Hawaii in particular. I'm gonna head over to just check questions. I'm just gonna head on to Vegas. Share my screen again. Oh.
Where's our Vegas girl?
Vegas. Oh, bear with me. That's Vegas.
I should really mute myself, otherwise I'll get too excited.
Absolutely welcomed, Nikki. Like a bit of excitement. So yeah, we'll be heading to Vegas, as I mentioned, straight after Hawaii. So at the moment we've got a mixture of women that are still doing Hawaii, going on to Vegas, but also designed it so that anyone that's not doing Hawaii can come out as well. So I know Rachel, you're doing that, aren't you? We've also got a few other ladies that are doing that and just coming out to Vegas who might have either been to Hawaii before or just fancy Vegas. So it's just be a five-day trip, and we're going to be going, so basically spending all the time on Las Vegas Strip in a really, really beautiful hotel. I love this place. I checked out so many hotels when I was there. I did so much. I've never done so much walking in my life. Just walking around the hotels takes absolutely ages. And for that, they are really interesting to walk around. But then I found this kind of really beautiful boutique hotel called the Cromwell, which is right on the Strip. Literally found rooms. They're really sort of gorgeous bedrooms, sort of Parisian boudoir style. Still feel quite Vegas because they're all kind of like glam in there. There's like mirrors to get ready with all kind of lights around them and stuff. Massive sort of queen beds. You have like a queen bed each. And views from the rooms of the Bellagio fountains going off, which I just stood and like looked at in awe for a while. So I was like, yes, this is the experience. If you're going to do it properly. Really cool rooftop pool as well with hot tub overlooking like bright lights of Vegas. So absolutely perfect in my humble opinion. So we go and stay there for a few nights. We'll have all sorts of different activities included. Again, I'm going to go through the itinerary, so I won't go through all those. And we also go and do an amazing scenic flight to go and check out the Grand Canyon as well. So I shall try to run through this fairly quickly. So this is the Las Vegas Strip, and literally our hotel is slap bang in the middle. So where I'm just kind of putting the mouse over there, that is where we are. So you can, looking out from there, you can see it's right facing the Bellagio fountains, right along the Strip. Really a safe area to walk out as well. There's a few areas of the Vegas Strip that aren't safe to walk out on, which I found myself in and thought, nope, we won't be coming down here. So yeah, walking around all that area is, it feels like it's loads of people around there, really well lit. Really cool area to be able to walk around and feel safe. So basically on arrival, which is like the 20th, picked up from the hotel, picked up from the airport, sorry, brought to our hotel, have a bit of time to check in, freshen up after your flight, and then that evening we'll basically all meet for dinner in the bar, and it's really beautiful casino, the little bar area. There's a restaurant again overlooking Bellagio fountains, so we'll meet there, have a nice dinner, get to meet everyone, and then we'll head down into the casino as well, and we'll just do a little bit of kind of, you know, showing you the ropes with a couple of classic kind of games like roulette and sort of blackjack, just so that if you're not familiar with it, like I'm not really, when I first went to Vegas, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing with these things. So if you're not kind of comfortable with that, sometimes you feel a bit like you don't want to kind of have a go because you're not sure. So we'll show you the ropes and have a little kind of play together so that we know what we're doing. Obviously, you can go to Vegas and do absolutely no gambling or playing card games or roulette or anything whatsoever, and there's still absolutely tons to see and do. But it's also, you know, quite good fun to have a little play if it's something you've never done before, or just watch others and know what's going on. So we'll do a little bit of that together, and then it's up to you if you kind of want to stay refreshed for the next day. You can go off to your room and have a little chilled evening, or if you want to throw yourself into kind of Vegas style, obviously there's loads of different bars and restaurants and places that can take us to kind of head out and have a good time. And then the next day, we basically have a really cool little trip planned. So we'll be heading down the Vegas Strip. So we'll do a bit of as a combination. So we're going to have limos pick us up from the hotel, stretch limos, which will drive down the strip. So you get that experience of being in a limo, you know, going down the strip, seeing all the sights. And we'll get dropped off at the famous kind of Las Vegas sign, which is at one end of the strip. We'll head down there, have a chance to have some pictures, and then we're basically going to kind of walk back towards our hotel into the heart of the strip and just sort of check out some little sites along the way. So just as an idea, so these are the limos to pick us up from the front. Bit posing. Seems to be the thing to do in Vegas. And then, yeah, as we're walking back from the Vegas sign, we stop off at this little wedding chapel, which is like the oldest one in Vegas. There's been, you know, actual weddings held here, and, you know, movies of weddings being held here, all sorts of celebrities that have been there. And then we start to pass some of like the iconic sites of Vegas. So the hotels and casinos. So you get, you know, obviously with the pyramid, and Luxor, this one with all, you know, all that kind of style. That's the monorail in front of it. We'll pass like New York, and MGM Grand, which I can't say the word MGM Grand without hearing George Clooney's voice saying it. So bring that into, I'll share that little thought with you. I just can't have someone see MGM Grand at it. Oh, I'm not going to do an impression. It won't be. Yeah, and past the Paris Hotel as well, which is really beautiful. This was one that I almost thought about us staying in. But in the end, went for the Cromwell Hotel, a little bit nicer, and also not quite as massive for kind of meeting up and making our way around. But yeah, the Paris Hotel is really nice. You can go up the Eiffel Tower, and just walking through the casino. It's really sort of scenic. Everything's kind of based on obviously the bits if you're in Paris. And then we'll walk down to the Venetian Hotel, and we'll actually finish the kind of little walking tour here. So you'll have a chance to do a gondola ride and just kind of walk around. Again, they're just sort of tourist attractions in their own right, really, the hotels. Have a walk around the Grand Canal and shopping plaza. And then obviously we won't be doing that tour slap bang in the middle of the day, because we'll be in Vegas in July and it will be hot. So we'll be doing our sort of walking tour in the morning. So you'll still have like a full afternoon to head up to our rooftop pool, which is the picture you can see at the moment on the top of our hotel. So you can just kind of chill out there. Literally, these are the views, you know, right over the strip. There's little lounge areas and pools. And then that evening as well will be a free night. Again, we'll have a plan, but one of the things that we'll share before we go is if this is an ideal time if you want to catch a show or go and see a concert or anything like that in Vegas. Obviously, you can feel free to just book it yourself and go off and do it on your own. But we'll share in the group before we go to see if there's any other people that fancy doing, you know, seeing the similar things, so you can book it together, so you know you've got people to go with. And then the next day it would be our Grand Canyon trip. This was amazing. I'd never been here before, and it literally, yeah, again, pictures just don't do it justice at all. A really, really cool way to go as well. A lot of trips you'll just get the bus and it takes several hours, you know, to drive out there, because it is a few hours drive away from Vegas. But for me, this is the way to do it. So we go and get in a little scenic flight. So we have a short transfer to a local airport in Boulder City. And then we hop on our little planes, which will pretty much have mostly just us on them, because we'll be filling about 2 planes, I think. So you get these kind of views as we're flying over. And this is over Lake Mead in the desert. So we go over the Hoover Dam. And you just get all these really cool views of like the desert, which is just, if you've not seen it before, it's just really unusual compared to anything else I'd seen before anyway. So it's a short flight over to the Grand Canyon, and then we land there, and you get to see a little bit of the canyon as we come into land. But then we get out basically, so you have time to kind of walk around on foot as well and explore. And for me, that's actually even better than sort of just having a flight just over, because you can get out and sort of take it in a bit more. You have a bit more time, and you can literally kind of get up scarily close to the edge, actually. In fact, the thought of when I went there myself and there was no barriers, I sort of thought, oh God, I'm gonna have to kind of keep an eye on the group when I come in. I hope it's not too busy. But yeah, these are my pictures just from when I went there, pictures overlooking the canyon. So enjoying myself. And also this is the skywalk as well. So this picture just here, this is a skywalk, which is overlooking the canyon. So you can walk out there onto kind of the glass and like look through. I didn't do it, I chickened out, but I might do it when I'm there with the group. I'm not so good with heights. If I have a group, I'll have someone's hand I can hold, so I can walk out there and not worry about getting frozen out there. But yeah, optional. You don't have to do that if you don't like the idea. You can just stand by the side and take in the views. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Just can't really get across kind of the scale of it. And you can look down to the Colorado River. And then as an optional extra as well, it is another couple of £100, but when you're actually there, you can get a helicopter ride down to the Colorado River and have a little boat trip along there. So I did that, and it was absolutely worth it. And you will have time to do that, which I'll tell you about when we're there, to make sure you kind of, you know, get yourself sorted. But it's run by, the land is owned by kind of a local sort of Indian reservation. So you have to actually go there and book it with them on the day. But I recommend that as well. But if you don't like the idea, again, didn't include that as standard because not helicopters out for everyone. I mentioned it to a few people, and people are like, oh, I'm not sure I'd want to go in a helicopter. Others absolutely love the idea. So with it being quite expensive, I've left that out, and it's an option. And then we'll basically have time to explore. It's about 3 hours, I think, in total, and then we get back on our flight and head back to Vegas. And again, we'll have a bit of free time, but if you want to head out with us, we're going to go to this really cool sort of sports bar right overlooking the strip. So there's always loads of football screens everywhere, American football playing. Even if you're not into sports, yeah, that's my kind of seat there overlooking the Bellagio. So really cool spot. They do amazing hot wings. Which it is mine, so I was pleased. So that's the 3rd day. And then on the 4th day, this is kind of our last full day, really, as well. So a full day and night. So it's going to be really hot when we're there. So we're going to head over to Caesar's Palace and what they call the Garden of the Gods. So they have this huge kind of swimming pool kind of complex, which is all themed around kind of, you know, Greek kind of, you know, ornate buildings and swimming pools and gods and goddesses and that kind of thing. So there's all different areas. They have more chilled out pools where you can just, you know, kind of lie there and relax and kind of switch off. Or there's more sort of party pools where you can get on the cocktails and other people are there and there's a bit more music playing. They have kind of, you know, different pool area, different kind of like hot tub areas but outdoors. And there's also like a swim up blackjack bar where you can actually go and play blackjack in the pool while you're half submerged. So if you like the idea of playing with that, but you want to make the most of the weather and not be tucked away in an air-conditioned casino, then you can just swim up here and have a little play. That's another picture of it there. A bit surreal, not seen that anywhere else. But yeah, that's obviously a bit more of the party pool. So you can opt to stay there for as long as you like. And then in the evening, we're just going to have like a really cool sort of night out Vegas style, which obviously we can have every night if we want to. But, you know, if you want to save it because it's all the different activities that we're going to be doing during the day, this will kind of be the big kind of last night. So I've got a few different places in mind, bars and little restaurants to take us to. That I've checked out. Obviously, I'm sure we'll head to some others as well. But one of them, it's a bit of a minefield if you've never been before. So I've done the kind of the recce and found some places for us to go. But also there's one of them was a rooftop kind of open air nightclub, which is basically within kind of the Eiffel Tower facing the Bellagio fountains. So even if you're not massively into nightclubs, there's parts of it which are quite chilled, where you can just kind of have a drink, and it's just kind of stunning. But you never forget that you're on the Strip in Vegas. You're not tucked away in kind of like a dark room somewhere. And also there's another nightclub opposite, which is Omnia, this is like the open air sort of part of that nightclub as well. So just, yeah, all designed around basically making the most of the fact that we're on the Strip in Vegas. So you can come and do that for a little bit if you want, quite early on, and just sort of, you know, have a taster of it. But if a massive night out isn't your thing, then you'll still kind of just enjoy the sights and things like that. But if you are up for a really big night, pretty much we'll probably just stay out until, you know, everyone kind of drops, and there'll be somewhere for us to go until that point. And then in our hotel as well, there's a really cool sort of after hours bar, which is kind of like a little speakeasy bar. So we'll kind of head there later on, probably our last stop. And then when you've literally kind of dropped from there, also there's a rooftop bar which is open at night in the pool on our rooftop of our hotel. And I think that, yeah, this is a kind of after hours bar. So when you've had enough there, you literally just kind of walk to your elevator and get up to your room and plug yourself in bed, and that's it. Done. Vegas night complete. So then the next day, no real activities planned for this day. I know a lot of people's flights, how it works back to the UK, don't actually leave until later on. So sort of late afternoon or even early evening with some of the options. But for me, for a short trip to Vegas, that works really well, especially if you've got a big night on the last night, because it means you don't have to get up too early the next day. You can enjoy a bit of a lie-in, you know, sort of sleep it all off. Or if you're still kind of raring to go and want to go and do all sorts of different sites, there's all sorts of different attractions, everything you might even fit in another show this day, or you might just want to go and do some shopping. There's tons of shopping places and huge developments everywhere, shopping centres everywhere. There's things like you can hop on the monorail, you can go up to the Stratosphere. Talking away, I've got some pictures of these. You could just go and get like a brunch as well. A really cool thing to do in Vegas is get like a breakfast brunch or a lunch time brunch, but the food's just amazing. So if you want to sort of stock up before your flight home, plonk yourself somewhere for a few hours, and we'll have a chat about where we can go together if people are up for that. And just walking around the hotel. So this is the Bellagio. Even if you can't afford to go into the shops, like I certainly can't. They're interesting to walk around anyway. You can also go downtown, which is a bit, yeah, it's like a completely different type of place. It's more kind of old school kind of Vegas, but again, different sites, and people just quite like to see it sometimes. You've got the high roller, like the big wheel, which you can go in if you're okay with heights and get amazing views all over the Strip. If you were to do one thing, I'd say the going up the Strat is really good, because you get like really cool views, and it's quite a nice thing to do on the last day. I went up there and you get to see it in, you know, kind of daytime like that with the sun out, but also it's quite nice to see it as the sun sets as well, which is quite early in Vegas. So if you're on a late flight, you might have time to do that. And then you'll be off to the airport, unless you decide to have an extra night in Vegas or stay a bit longer. But that's so that's the end of our Vegas tour. So all sorts of stuff crammed into there. So lots of activities and lots of walking around, a little bit of free time, but not too much, mainly on the last day. And for that reason, because it's a short tour, so I didn't want to just kind of fill it with kind of free time, really wanted to kind of be able to do all the main stuff together. I'm going to stop sharing that now. So that's Vegas. Vegas people. Who've we got? Carly, Nikki, Yasmin, Rachel. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Anne-Marie as well. One of the Anne-Maries. Gonna have, you know, on the one of our Thailand tours, we had 2 Tinas. So we ended up coming up with kind of nicknames. It wasn't me, someone else on the tour. On that tour? No, I don't think so. On that tour, we had a Disco Tina and Temple Tina. One was named Temple Tina because she brought a specific dress to wear at the temple, and it became this thing like, we can't wait to see Tina's temple dress, which didn't disappoint. And Disco Tina, I think it was just there was one of the nights out, yeah, she was either after disco music or was just doing a lot of dancing. I can't quite remember, but yeah, they got little kind of affectionate nicknames. So who knows what?
Who knows?
Anne-Marie will become on the trip, all will be revealed. But yeah, and then we know, say, Anne-Marie, which one? So you can look forward to that. That may or may not happen. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about Vegas?
I do, because I've not been there for years and years and years, which is showing me age.
Oh, yeah.
Stratosphere, haven't they got things now where you can, like, are there rides or?
Yes. Yes, there are rides. Yeah, there's oh my god, they look terrifying. I'm not great with heights, so there's some stuff that I will do that's pretty adventurous, but like this, I just watched them and I was like but you can basically do, there's the one that I saw which was really close to where I was stood, was you basically kind of, you have like the viewing platform, which is really good to just go up and do anyway, even if you don't do a scary ride. But then you go up and you get into like this, effectively like a few seats in like a carriage, and it's just designed to basically shoot like that to the edge as if you're about to fly off the top of the stratosphere, and then it just stops, and then it just comes back and it just shoots again and it just keeps repeating. I was like, oh my god, couldn't get me in there, but people were doing it and loving it and like real whooping and laughing and just, yeah, and there's just a lot of other people just watching in awe.
And I'll be like, oh, do I face a fear and do it anyway? I'm like, oh, should I just be sensible and older now?
Well, I bet if you just do it though, it'd be absolutely amazing. You can do a bungee jump.
I was going to say you could jump off it.
Absolutely no way would I do a bungee. No, that's just crazy people. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to get down. I don't know what happened. I never saw. You just saw them go off, and you're like, because it's only so far you can see down.
I don't even think it's a bungee. I think it's one of those things where you just throw yourself off and you're on one of those things that just kind of goes down, and then it kind of like slows you down, obviously, before you hit the ground.
You must slowly just end up there because you don't bounce back. Yeah, so because no one ever came back up. I was like, what's happening to these people? But yeah, so that, and then there was another little ride around the other side, which I can't quite remember what it was, but there was something else as well. Maybe it just span around or you float. But yeah, all designed basically to terrify you at the highest possible point of Vegas.
Yeah, might just stick with the zip lining. That's safe.
And that was, yeah, so there's a couple of options where you can do zip line as well, which I didn't mention. It's on the website, but you can go down part way down just past the Venetian Hotel, where we'll finish like the tour, the walking tour, which I can kind of point that out on the day when we're doing it to prepare anyone if they want to go off and do that. You can go and do like a zip line along this kind of sort of promenade, and you can also do it in downtown over like the sort of mini old school strip down there.
Oh, on Fremont Street.
Fremont Street.
That's it. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so you can do it there as well. So that's a little bit closer to ground than height if you want to do something. But yeah, there's all sorts of different things. Like there's, you know, this was my first visit, and I did all sorts and checked out the main things, but there's tons and tons of stuff like you can do. But when I've kind of researched it, there's something that everyone kept mentioning that I didn't get a chance to do, called like the Mob Museum downtown, and everyone was like raving about it. So, you know, there'll be all sorts of weird and wonderful little attractions and things, and you know, and there's shows all the time, like during the day and in the evening as well. So there'll be all sorts of things to sort of do. But I mean, we're doing that in different activities as well. You might just want to sort of chill out in between, or just have a wander down the strip and take it in, you know, see street performers and stuff like that. So,
Mel, just a practical question. You know how in Thailand we had like backpacks? Are you going to recommend backpack, or can we take a case? What's your?
I think a case would be fine for both of these trips, because we're basically most of the time we'll be traveling around. We'll just be being picked up by kind of minibus or taxi and taken, you know, to the airport. There's not a huge amount of boat travel when we're making our way between destinations. So the boat trips that we do are kind of part of day trips where you don't have to. So that was the big thing in Thailand, was recommending that, because we do a lot of travel by speedboat, and sometimes you're getting on and off the speedboat from the beach, that like cases with wheels aren't always the best option, because you don't have to carry them far, but it's a bit tricky. If you've got to just walk 5 minutes or something, it's easier to put a backpack on than it is to try and lug a suitcase across sand. But in this instance, yeah, you'll be able to take a case if you like. And then as Kaz rightly mentioned earlier, we do have a flight partway through the Hawaii trip that is like an internal sort of domestic flight, but you will have kind of a luggage allowance to be able to check it in. But I will confirm with people exactly what that is plenty of time before we go.
For those of us who are going from Hawaii to Vegas, you know, how do we book that night then?
Yeah, so basically I know Nikki, you asked me about this a little while ago, so I must apologise, I would normally be a little bit further ahead with organising this, but yeah, had quite a bit going on in the last few weeks. But yeah, so basically you have the option, you have a couple of options, which for those that have booked, there's a bit of an explanation of it in your booking confirmation, but basically you can either just book that night yourself. So it's the 19th, it's the night in between the Hawaii and the Vegas tour. So if you're not doing Vegas, you don't need to worry about this. So basically you can either just book a hotel on the strip, and there's one in mind that I can recommend, which is right opposite our hotel where we'll be staying. It's called Bally's. The last time I checked, you could get a room there for about 60 quid. Which just for one person is obviously very reasonable, considering the next day you'd literally get up and kind of walk across the road with your case and check in at the new hotel. If you stay at the same hotel that we'll be staying in for the duration of the Vegas tour, it's going to cost quite a bit more, like a couple of £100, because it's like a 5-star luxury hotel. I realise for convenience, you might just think, I'll just want to be at the same one. But we will arrive quite late from Hawaii to Vegas, quite late in the evening. So my kind of gut feeling was, well, people might not want to pay all that for an extra night just to literally kind of get there, crash and maybe go to sleep, you know. So the plan basically to organise that was I'll post in the Vegas tour group, Facebook group soon, to say basically these are your options, but is anyone up for booking at the Cromwell, and who's up for maybe doing the sort of cheaper option at Bally's? And then if you want to book the Cromwell, I have got rooms reserved just in case, so that, and obviously if you find a group of other people that all want to stay at the Cromwell, then it will make it cheaper because you can share a room as well, and we can sort it out so that you're with that person for the rest of the trip and you don't need to faff about. But if loads of people say, oh, we're all going to stay at the sort of slightly cheaper one, people might just opt to do that, but at least you'll be able to know what other people are doing and kind of plan it. So that's on my immediate ASAP to-do list. And then I'll either be able to book it for you if it's the Cromwell, let you know how much it is, and I'll let you know the exact price, because off the top of my head I can't quite remember, because it's slightly different for each night, you see. It kind of midweek it's a little bit less than it is kind of at the weekend, so I can't quite remember what it would work out for that exact night. But I can let you know. Yeah, that booked. One thing I haven't mentioned, I'm not sure if there's anyone actually watching that's really thinking about necessarily booking onto Hawaii this July who isn't already, but if there is, the last kind of date to book onto that is literally in kind of like a week and a half now, because that will be the point where it's exactly 2 months before we go, so that'll kind of be the cut-off point. So if anyone is thinking of booking, we'll need to do so quite quickly. But I think the people that are on that aren't already going are more thinking about it, perhaps for the future. So, any other questions? I'm sure those that are going have probably got loads of questions for me that I've not kind of covered just yet. But and I've shared some stuff tonight about luau's and surfing and different options. But yeah.
I would really like the idea of surfing, but I'm like, can I be bothered? Because I know I won't be very good at it, but I feel like because I'm in Hawaii, I should give it a try.
Feel exactly the same way, but I just don't know if I'm a bit nervous about whether I would manage it or not.
Yeah, I'd like to try it, but I think if I fell off, I don't have the upper body strength to actually get back on the board.
I can categorically tell you that there is no way any amount of professional training will get me standing up on a surfboard.
That's not the attitude, mate.
It's not going to happen. But you want me in the boat, right?
I'll have you in the boat.
Yeah. You're going to need someone with some power, aren't you?
Well, the canoe rides just look really good fun. And I was like, well, this is like a way to get out amongst the waves, but perhaps I'm biased because I have tried surfing and I was like, But then that's it. I've also been on surf lessons. I've been on a lot, by the way. I don't give up easy. I'm now at Kaz's point. Like, yeah, I actually went on an 8-day surfing trip in Bali. Still can't.
Oh, you didn't.
After one or two random lessons as part of other trips, and I was like, I think it's time to accept defeat, that this is something that's not going to be my forte. But on each of those, me doing a lesson, people have come along, have gone, nah, no, I'll bet I won't be any good at this, and just picked it up like that and just made it look so easy. So I wouldn't dismiss it. You know, you might think.
I did a yoga class the other day and I was doing tree pose and I fell over, and that was on solid ground next to a wall.
You did what are those?
I mean, it can be quite good fun just trying to learn, even if you don't stay up. I mean, if you just get up. I mean, I actually did get up a couple of times, just didn't stay up and just walk the plank every time and just like ran off the edge. I was just like, just running off. But yeah, but you can also have a go, yeah, bodyboarding is the way forward for me, because I love getting out there and I love being in the sea and amongst the waves, but just, yeah, I need to stay at like ground level is where I'm best.
I'll take lots of great photos of you all falling off.
Excellent. I'm Kaz, that was going to be my job. we can sit together. Yeah, no, it is good fun. And I always think, well, if you're going to have a go, if you've not done it before, I would definitely recommend having the lesson rather than just having a go. It is what I was meaning by
it'd be nice if you had a dishy instructor as well. You know, that's always the plus
They
point.
can send us some pictures and we'll put in some specific requests.
Get a line.
I could be swayed.
I've been watching The Last Kingdom. I want a Viking.
Can we have Jason Momoa?
And I have Jason
The Last
Momoa.
Kingdom. I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred, and oh my god, he is flaw.
Are you into all those Viking? I love all those, Nikki. Last Kingdom, Vikings, yeah.
The Rock.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I was watching Jumanji.
Clearly the only reason she was watching Jumanji.
No, actually, I really wanted to watch Jumanji. Probably because I subconsciously knew it was filmed in Hawaii. The other reason I choose films. But yeah, can't wait. Can't wait, ladies.
It's going to be fab.
It is.
So close as well, yeah. And I know I've been a little bit quiet on sharing things, but there's all sorts of stuff coming out. And then we obviously got our pre-trip meetup as well that we'll have for both, which I'll put the dates in for soon. So I know we're sort of chatting now, but we'll have more people for each individual trip, which we'll also have for Croatia soon, for Suzanne and Anne-Marie. So yeah, so we'll have all those. So it always kind of adds to it, makes it feel a little bit more real that it's happening as well, doesn't it?
That's it. It's so nice to plan things again.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's not long now, Nikki, until we go.
No, it's what, 5 weeks?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Come round so quick. I need to get shopping because I've nothing to wear.
No, neither have I.
At least now's the time, because there's actually things in the shops at this sort of time of year.
Yeah, true. I need a big
There's
shop.
not many shops left though, it's all online.
Well, that's
Yeah.
time, because you tend to order a job lot of stuff, try it all on, and then find like 2 things out of 20 that actually
That's what I'm back in the office in Manchester. I'm like, oh well, Dorothy Perkins isn't open, Oasis isn't open, none of the shops are open. I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like this online bollocks.
It's hard work, isn't it? Trying it all on, and yeah. And then
I feel like the only shop left is Primark. I think that's the only one really left.
Oh, I only shopped at Primark for the Thailand elephant bollocks, so.
Next pretty good because you can
You
have it
know
all
what I mean,
delivered
Mel?
to the shop.
Not with the elephants. I mean, that said it all wrong. So.
I actually knew what you meant. Yeah.
I panic bought a load of stuff in Next the other day, and I'm kind of regretting my decisions now because I'm like, all of this stuff's going to be too warm. I need to take it back. It's not the right material.
For Hawaii.
Yeah, what's the temperature going to be?
Hot.
It'll be hot.
Yeah.
When I went did my recce, it was the end. It was like end of November, December, and it was hot then, but it was cooler in the evening, and there was just a bit of a breeze every now and again. But that was like the coolest time of year, But it was still hot and sunny, like on a beach and you full on, swimming costume or bikini or whatever. So, it'll be hot. It'll be hot in Hawaii. It will be very hot.
Be very hot in Vegas.
Oh God, yeah, it's like a sun trap, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
I've not had sun for nearly 3 years. So I was like, I'm going to have to go on the sunbed before I go to Croatia.
I did that before this trip.
It's
a good point, that.
alert, but I'm like,
Yeah, and apparently in Hawaii, obviously I'll say this again before we go, but it's a place where people can get sunburn. I don't know if it's this thing about what apparently position. Even you hear these things, and you're like, is this a myth? Is this like an old wives' tale or a myth or something? But position-wise, in relation to the equator, apparently it's somewhere the sun is hotter. I mean, the sun's out, the sun's always going to be hot, isn't it? But I think as well, it can be somewhere because of all the mountains as well. You can obviously get a couple of overcast days, and those tend to be the days when people get the most burnt because they think, oh, the sun's not directly on me, so they don't put the sun cream on. So that's usually why I think in some places like that they end up burnt, because I know that's when I've been burnt the most, is when I've been on like a boat trip snorkeling, and because the sun's not been blazing on me, I've not sun creamed up and stuff and got burnt. So
I'll get factor 50 just in case.
I got sunburnt going for a run the other day, so the answer is really don't try and
All
do
right.
exercise when you're on
Yeah, no,
holiday.
I'm nursing sunburn at the minute as well from Portugal.
We don't feel sorry for you.
I got back to work and they were like, where on earth have you been? Look at your face.
So you've got a nice colour already there, Kaz.
Yeah, getting there.
Yeah, I have. The picture that you put a picture somewhere before, and you look like you got a really nice colour. I don't know if it was in the group or in the event or something.
Just while I think, I did mean to tell you all this before I started, and I didn't. So I'm going to ask everyone now if they're okay with it. I recorded this Zoom because I mean to every single time, and then I don't, I forget. And then people can't make the event and they say, oh, would you be able to record it and share it? But I absolutely should have told you all that before I started. So
it does say on the thing. It's fine.
Honestly, everyone
Also gives you a notification when you join as well.
Yeah, you can see on top left it's recording.
Anyway,
Yeah, what?
I should, because I always do that with pictures or video. I always tell people first. So honestly, you don't have to tell me right now. But if anyone is not comfortable with me sharing, it's not going to be like shared far and wide. And to be honest, if anyone's watched it long enough, they're obviously genuinely interested in what this is about to actually see anyone's faces and any comments. But if anyone would object to me filming this because they're kind of in it, you can just drop me a message after this and I won't share it, because I should have told you that before I started. I got distracted and went into full flow. So yeah, just let me know, and that's absolutely not a problem. I won't share it. But I thought, yes, for once I will actually record this, and so other people can see it in the future. Does anyone else have any other questions about anything?
Nah, bring it on.
Brilliant.
I've got 2 more holidays to go yet, but bring this one on.
You've been to Rome, haven't you, as well, Rachel?
I've been to Rome, I've been to Faro, I'm going to Amsterdam, I'm going to Lanzarote.
Oh, where in Lanzarote are you going?
Go to work occasionally.
I've just booked on for Rome in October.
Oh, very good. Yeah, it was kind of a want to go somewhere, and then it ended up kind of being a where can we fly from on these dates? And Rome was actually somewhere I really wanted to go to, so I was happy.
How long were you there for?
3 days.
It was just I say a long weekend. It was Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
And then Faro was definitely just like, yeah, should we go somewhere? Yeah, okay, better book it now because it's in 2 weeks.
Where in Lanzarote are you going?
I can't remember. It's through a wedding with my dad, so it's all, civilized. Can't remember.
Oh, nice. Well, it's good to hear people are making the most of not being able to travel for a while and packing so much in. It's good. It's good to get back out there, isn't it?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I hope that was helpful, interesting, just nice to watch and go on a little bit of a virtual tour. Get excited if you're already booked on, or get excited for maybe something in the future for another tour. Obviously, if anyone does want to book onto this one that I have no idea that you want to, but you're watching and secretly thinking, haha, I'm going to go for it, just, let me know as soon as possible, because it's not far off for this summer. And then, like I say, for anyone thinking about the future, it's going to be kind of like next year now. But yeah, I will get to work on those dates as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, so it's been really nice to kind of see lots of Travel Queen faces and chat about a tour coming up and stuff, and get excited. So thank you all for joining us. And as always, if you ever have any questions that you didn't want to ask just now and you just want to speak to me directly, you can get in touch with me. I'm going to have next couple of days, I'll be around, and then off having a bit of a break next week. Me and Carly are off camping.
Woohoo!
Glorious weather's going to disappear. I'm going to get drenched.
Yeah, it's going to piss it down.
Maybe 15 hours, we'll be in a tent.
It's like Wales all over again.
It literally will be. We're going to Wales.
That's first night all over again.
Not quite that far south, but still Wales.
Hey, we had one night of bad weather in Wales, and I think it's fine. The rest was glorious sunshine. So
it was, but that first night, whoa.
I was interested in see how things would go that first night. Yeah, so fingers crossed.
I wasn't on the trip, and all I've seen of this first night is Raquel's impression of the tent being like.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate representation of the tent.
Sunny pictures and the dolphin watching, and the campfires and all those happy sunny pictures out there, don't have to get rid of all these thoughts.
What do you mean? We were all quiet and subdued. What are you about?
Oh yeah,
You on?
There was absolutely no campfire dancing whatsoever, was there?
No Macarena.
Morning's here.
Oh, I want to do that again. If I can get myself sorted in time, I might try it. I can try and run that again this summer.
Oh, I would definitely do that again. It was such
to be fair.
We'll be there.
That's 3 signed up.
Just can't change, no. You'll not fit it in. You'll not be in the country long enough to get to a UK trip.
That's true. I don't want to talk about. I've got no leave left. Yeah, I'll be
You
there.
and me both, mate.
Oh, brilliant. Right, thanks ladies. I'm going to call it a night so I can go and get some food and try off my little list.
All right, thank you.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks
a lot.
See you soon.
Bye.
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 Bye.